Do you ever wonder where we go after this? Are you high right now? Do you ever get nervous?
Glad you're here. Welcome to Modern Investing Techniques, episode 99 for July 7th, 2026. I'm Patrick, coming to you from Vancouver. Time to break down today's market setup and find our edge. Quick reminder, everything we discuss here is for education and entertainment. The practice investment of the day uses simulated trades with no real money. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Always do your own research before putting real money to work. Canadian manufacturers facing new U.S. tariffs could accelerate relocation plans, creating selective opportunities in cross-border supply chain names, while pressuring domestic industrial exposure. The S&P 500 closed at 7,506.30, up 0.7%. The NASDAQ Composite reached 26,121, gaining 1.1%. The TSX Composite finished at 35,212, down 0.1%. AI-related names drove the U.S. rebound, while Korean shares lagged despite the same catalyst. The Bank of Canada's next decision sits on July 24th, with markets pricing in a 25 basis point cut. The Fed meets July 29th and 30th with no move expected. Earnings season is quiet this week, leaving sector rotation into energy and defense as the clearest leadership signal. Portfolio matched window alpha stands at plus 11.17% across 35 benchmark trades, while the buy and hold gap versus NASDAQ year-to-date is minus 11.66%. Now, speaking of momentum, the volume confirmation filter explains why some moves lasted and others faded today. A volume confirmation filter requires that any momentum or catalyst trade must print volume at least 50% above its 20-day average on the entry day before capital is committed. Today's mixed global session shows why this matters. AI stocks rebounded on Wall Street, but Korean shares slumped on lighter volume, illustrating how headline-driven moves without participation often fade. Implementation is straightforward on any brokerage platform. Pull the 20-day average volume line on a daily chart and compare it to the current bar before entering. This approach worked best during the 2023 to 2024 semiconductor rotation, when volume spikes preceded sustained sector outperformance. The risk is missing fast gaps that later prove durable. The same filter would have kept the portfolio out of several low-volume defense-related bounces reported this week. That discipline connects directly to the deeper mechanics of how volume validates technical levels. Imagine you bought an energy ETF last week after an Iraq output headline pushed crude higher. Your order filled at the ask during the first 30 minutes when volume was still thin. The mechanism that actually moved price was the 50-day moving average acting as dynamic resistance, while RSI 14 climbed from 48 to 62 on expanding volume. Yet the 200-day average remained 4% above, capping upside until a close above both averages occurs. What most retail investors miss is that a golden cross only carries statistical edge when accompanied by volume at least 30% above average. Without it, the pattern often fails within 2 weeks. Professionals always check the MACD histogram slope before the cross itself, because a flattening histogram signals fading momentum even if the lines are about to cross. The biggest mistake with technical analysis is treating every support or resistance level as equally valid. Instead, always weight levels by the volume traded at that price in the prior 20 sessions. Technical rules like these set the stage for today's decision to stay on the sidelines. This is a simulated trade for educational purposes only. No real money is involved. This is not financial advice. No new position was initiated today. The strategy is waiting for a volume-confirmed setup in energy names. The catalyst is Iraq raising 3 southern fields to full capacity, which creates a potential supply overhang that could pressure near-term crude prices. The technical setup involves watching for an energy sector ETF to reach RSI 14 below 35 on the daily chart with volume at least 1.5 times the 20-day average. Risk assessment remains undefined until confirmation appears. Confidence level is low because this is a single-factor supply news event without volume or technical confirmation. The setup demonstrates how to maintain discipline during a cold streak by naming the exact trigger rather than forcing a trade. Listeners learn that skipping entries when factors are incomplete preserves capital for higher conviction opportunities later in the week. This is the exact scenario where our earlier rule about volume confirmation would have helped avoid premature entries. Discipline in waiting pairs with practical tools that help spot the right setups when they finally appear. Benzinga Pro filters stocks by sector, volume surge, and analyst revisions in real time. The 14-day trial lets users test energy and materials screens without committing. Canadian investors can layer TFSA eligible names directly into watch lists. Access is via desktop or mobile app after free registration. Interactive Broker's volume profile tool displays volume traded at each price level over the past 20 sessions. It highlights high volume nodes that often act as support or resistance. This tool is useful for confirming the volume confirmation filter taught earlier. It is available on the desktop TWS platform at no extra cost for commission-paying accounts. If today's momentum strategy interests you, these platforms are exactly how you would screen for setups like this. Western Digital storage stock gains on AI demand. AI-driven data center buildouts continue to lift storage names even as broader tech rotates. The move shows sector-specific demand can persist beyond headline rotation. Listeners should add WDC to a separate watch list. They should monitor for any pullback below its 50-day moving average. The information comes from investing.com. Sector-specific demand appears capable of lasting even when headline rotation affects other areas of technology. Plug Power to supply electrolyzers for Australia Hydrogen Hub. The contract expands Plug's international revenue base in a policy-supported sector. Execution risk remains high given the company's history of delays. Listeners should avoid adding new hydrogen exposure. They should wait until the stock closes above its 200-day moving average on volume. The details originate from investing.com. Policy support exists for the sector, yet the firm's past performance on timelines introduces caution. Gilat receives $11 million in U.S. defense orders. The order backlog increase provides near-term revenue visibility in satellite communications. Defense spending momentum appears intact. Listeners should watch for any retest of recent lows. They should consider only a small satellite comms allocation after that occurs. The report is sourced from investing.com. Near-term revenue visibility improves with the added backlog in satellite communications. Cloudflare stock rises 3% on Scotiabank upgrade. The upgrade highlights improving margins in edge computing. Canadian investors gain a CAD-friendly way to express the theme via a US-listed name. Listeners should consider a starter position. They should confirm the stock holds above today's intraday low into tomorrow's close. The upgrade note appears on investing.com. Improving margins in edge computing form the basis of the Scotiabank view. Tools ready, now a quick scan of names that may soon meet the volume criteria. Open your brokerage platform. Pull up the daily chart of an energy ETF you follow and mark the 50-day and 200-day moving averages. Note whether price is above or below both and whether today's volume exceeds the 20-day average. Record the observation in your trading journal. Before we wrap, tomorrow I will examine whether the energy sector finally prints the volume spike we are waiting for on the RSI oversold condition. That's your modern investing techniques for today. Every episode makes you a sharper investor. Subscribe, leave a review, and we'll be back tomorrow with more market intelligence. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NARA Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. Fascinating Frontiers, the most fascinating news from space and science. Find every show free at naranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.
Do you ever wonder where we go after this? Are you high right now? Do you ever get nervous? Do you ever stay awake, counting sheep like all the time? What's your life like? What's your purpose? When's your birthday? What's your sign? Are you down right now? Are you stuck up in the past? Are you still thinking about all the times that you did